Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Katelyn, and today we are continuing the 100 Dragon Challenge. Now, last week we did the King Dragon, which was super fun, and I loved seeing your guys' entries for that. But this week, we're going to continue with our royalty by doing the Queen Dragon, the other half of our wonderful comment from here on YouTube. So let's jump in and start this Queen Dragon. So with this one, I kind of had a couple of ideas of where I wanted to go, just because I wanted it to kind of relate to the King Dragon and have some characteristics that were similar, but also have it be kind of a different dragon. First off, I decided to go ahead and do another European dragon for this one. I don't know why, but I think the type of royalty I'm going for with these dragons feels very much like European dragons, like the classic King Arthur style type of dragons. So I thought it would just work to continue with that theme. And then I had to think about how to make her crown of horns look different than our king, but also kind of similar. So I thought it'd be really interesting to have the top part of the crowns kind of look like icicles in a way, or like I don't really even know how to describe it any other way, because that's what I was thinking. So I thought it'd be really cool to have these big spiny icicles, and then I thought continuing the multi-horns down the neck, kind of like how the King Dragon was, but having them curve a different way and continue in the same direction as her icicle crown thing. So that's kind of what I went with, and the idea I was going with, plus I wanted to adorn her with some other, I guess, more feminine attributes. So I have some chains and like earring type of things going between the different horns, and with that I was going to put little dangling gems or jewels on the end of it to give her more of a feminine flair, to really make sure you can see she is the Queen Dragon. And then I did want to carry over some of the design aspects from the King Dragon. For example, I wanted her to also have very large, broad wings, and then instead of her having like a mane beard type of thing like the King Dragon had, I thought it'd be really interesting if she instead had kind of more long flowing locks, kind of like how the women of the court would have this long, elaborate, intricate, well-preserved hair in all of their fancy paintings. So I wanted to make sure that she had some amazing, amazing hair. And with that, I just wanted to let you guys know that I tried drawing this thing like 3 times. This is my 3rd attempt that you're seeing right here, but I had multiple mess ups throughout the process, and it was really hard to get the pose that I wanted to get. So on this 3rd pose, I was kind of hitting myself later, which I don't think you'll see me kind of pause later because I edited it out. But what I wanted to do was have this pose reflect the King Dragon. So I wanted them to be looking at each other, but kind of be posing in the opposite direction. Another kind of front-facing pose, and her basically looking at him, but the rest of her body is like the opposite of his. So that didn't happen. In my brain, like, it was just a really rough night drawing this dragon. I ended up going to bed early and not finishing it just because I was so exhausted from work, and then I was getting really frustrated with this one. So after I found out that I did the pose wrong in the wrong direction after I drew it and liked it, I was just like, okay, game over. Basically what happened was her front legs should be going the other direction, and her back leg should be on the other side of her to be an actual reflection of the King Dragon. And I didn't realize that until I already was like partway through inking. And it was too late, and I already liked the pose. I really loved her front arms and kind of how like long and more feminine they looked, and just her overall pose I was really digging. So I'm like, okay, you know what, this is how it's gonna be, because I like it too much and I don't want to start this dragon over. So she's not an exact reflection of the King Dragon like I kind of was hoping for, but I still really like her pose, and I think it just worked really well to kind of have this tall and mighty, elegant female dragon that's this like wonderful queen dragon, and I just really like the pose in the end. And then I also went along and did some more adornments, just like I did on the King Dragon, but for this one, I thought it'd be fun to literally have jewelry and such on her. For the King Dragon, I had more of his horns and armoring, like his natural plating, to have kind of those ruby crested bits on it. But for her, I just thought for that feminine charm, she would have more of like bracelets and anklets, like adorned with a bunch of jewels, and actually have like these really large silver necklaces, and then the chains hanging from all of her different horns. I just felt it worked well to give her that feminine, queenly charm, to have actual jewelry instead of just it being like a grown platelet on her, if you know what I mean. And then another like fun little side note, I kind of had the idea of making her at least quite different from the King Dragon in terms of coloring and such. I kind of had it planned in my head when I was doing the King Dragon. I have on his design, I have the lavenderish color for the inside of his wings. So I had her, that was like her primary color. And I thought it was kind of fun because one thing that just was a random thought that popped in my head when I was picking colors was, you know, back in the day with kings and queens, they would, you know, tend to marry for royalty status or to help exchange lands or goods or different things. So I wanted them to look like they were different races of dragons. I didn't want them to be the same type of dragon exactly. Like, they're both European style dragons, but I wanted to make sure they look different. So by having different colors being the primary focus, and then her build and body structure is completely different from the King Dragon, I thought that kind of matched that narrative in a way. So I just kind of thought that was a fun little fact of something you guys might want to know from my internal brain monologue while I was drawing this. And I decided, like I said, I wanted to bring over the maroon colors from the King Dragon. I think I said that during that episode. And at first I struggled back and forth with where I wanted to put it. I thought about putting it in her wings, but I'm like, I don't want to do the same thing as the King Dragon. So I decided to put it as her hair, and I really like it. She has this interesting, like, I don't know, Celtic Irish theming, just because she has this bright red burgundy hair, and then she has like these blues and greens and purples, and I don't know how to describe it, but she just, I really like the red hair on her. She just looks very royal with it. And then it also works because purple is usually the color of royalty, so that also blends in with her like status and just showing off that she is the Queen Dragon. So for this one, I had a lot of fun diving in with the lavenders again. I don't know why, but I've been really liking coloring with these. Like, I would have to say, like, if someone asked me what my favorite color was, I probably wouldn't say purple. Like, I don't dislike the color, but it's not the first thing that comes to mind. But recently, I've been really liking it in drawings. Like, I love adding it to, like, the main color palette of different things, and it's just a cool color to have around, and I don't know. I'm starting to warm up to purple slowly, just a little bit more here and there. And then it was just fun to kind of combine it with, like, the darker, deeper violets, and then the minty bluish green. I just thought it was an interesting color palette, and probably not one that I would pick right off the bat. And I think that's one thing that's fun about this 100 Dragon Challenge. I continue to surprise myself by basically using colors that I tend to not think of right off the bat, you know? Like, I don't know. It's just been expanding my color palette choices, just because I'd have to say, before starting this challenge, I fell very much into very particular dragon designs and dragon coloring. For example, you know, European dragons were always like reds or oranges or like really bright, bold, aggressive colors. And then Asian dragons were usually like greens or blues or more like subtle, cool colors. And then I would just kind of vary like on wyverns. Wyverns actually, I usually used to make like browns and reds. Again, sometimes more aggressive colors. But this challenge has really expanded my ideas for coloring dragons, and it's been a really fun experience. Like, we're only on, like, what is this now, 25? Yeah, we're only like a quarter of the way through the series, and I feel like I've already grown a lot as a dragon illustrator. Like, I used to, let's be real, like, when we were all in high school, or some of you who are currently in high school, at least for me, doing self-reflecting, I remember back in the day, I thought I was hot shit. Pardon my language, but seriously, like, I thought I was the coolest thing around. Like, I thought my dragons were always bamf and always cool. And then you always, like, go back and look at it again, and you're like, oh man, like, I wasn't that great. And now it's fun to be doing this because, again, like, before I started doing this challenge, I thought I had dragons on lockdown. Like, a lot of my friends call me the Dragon Lady, or I just am known to, like, have a thing for dragons. Hell, like, my friend told me to get this shirt, which I did end up buying, which I will probably wear on a future video, that says, dragons are my sexuality. So, like, I really like dragons, and I just thought I knew them even better than I do. Like, you know, I thought that wasn't a sentence. I thought I knew them way more than I did. There we go. And it wasn't true. I had a lot to improve on and a lot to grow on. And that's just something for everyone to take away from. If you think you're good at something, keep working at it, because you're going to surprise yourself. Like, there's always room to grow, there's always room to improve, and there's always time to get better at something. Like, it's nuts. Like, I legitimately thought I was pretty good at dragons, but now that I'm doing this, I'm feeling myself grow with every single drawing. Like, I feel they're just getting stronger and stronger. And speaking of which, I am so excited to see what you guys do for the entry for this week's Queen Dragon. So, if you'd like to participate, make sure to post it under KM100 Dragons on Twitter or Instagram. I'm currently traveling, so I'm not able to feature last week's or this week's just yet, but in a couple videos, I'm going to be featuring all the videos that I missed. So make sure to post your version of the Queen Dragon online, and I cannot wait to see your versions. So thanks again, guys, so much for stopping by and checking out this video. And if you aren't already, you can go and hit that subscribe button. I have new videos every week, and I can't wait for you guys to see the next dragon. I'm really excited for it. I prepped it before my travels, and it's fucking bamf. So make sure to tune into that next week. So see you guys later. Check out my Instagram and Twitter to see updates on my travels for RTX and VidCon. See you guys later.